Suzanne here. I'm going to keep my promise to you. I will do what I said, and we'll get to what my promise is. We talked about that. And I'm not about to break any promises. And the fact that I may come out on a different side of this issue does not mean I'm not being fair, does not mean that I'm not trying to do the right thing. I served this community for 35 years. I've been shot at, beat up, that kind of thing on the streets. I'm not about to make the wrong decision. What I'm really upset about, too, is I don't think that the end justifies the means. You can have all these good things that happen, but how you get there, for me, is more important. And I'm going to talk about some things, just kind of talk about it all over the place, probably, because that's what I get when I get going like this. And it was mentioned before, the city manager was the one that came in to save us all this money. That's not what happened, people. That's not what happened. Was he astute enough how to use it and do some of the right things? Of course. You, me, and anybody else up here could have done the same darn thing. Alan Silla came in here as a city manager who was paid nothing for a year, and he cut things to the bone. He cut things out like crazy. I had arguments with the chief of police with him. I said, Alan, you're cutting too much too quickly. I said, crime's going to go up. He said, I don't care. I got to cut. That's his job. If we had that discussion, we disagreed. Crime did go up, by the way. Right after, which is touched on here earlier, the lowest crime rate we've ever had in the city of Fort Lauderdale was 2003. I was your police chief then, and that was before the city manager, our current city manager, was on board too. Crime went back up. We started bringing it back down in 2007. We went back up again in 2008. We're coming back down again in 2009. But after that 2003 and 2007 level, we kind of maintained where we are as far as crime rates goes. Not much has changed when you look at that particular picture. You take a look at the money that came in. Like I said, silver cut to the bone. We had our building boom. Everybody talked about that. We had increased assessments. We had increase in the tax rate, as Charlotte mentioned before. We had vacant positions that were fully funded in the budget every year. Anybody could have saved that money. When we came to our annual report date ending September 30th of 2008, we had $91.5 million of general fund balance. $91.5 million. That's too much money that we taxed before and didn't do anything with. So I have a different viewpoint on how that goes about what we did there too. And I don't want to sound negative, but I will be getting into some negative aspects because I have a longer experience and track record not only with the city but with this current city manager. And I did meet with the city manager soon after being sworn in. We were sworn in on March 17th as new commissioner was, and I believe it was 2 weeks afterwards I met with him. We went over 2.5 pages of goals and objectives. One of those primary goals and objectives, which was the sole point in those discussions of what I wanted to accomplish, was I was talking about interpersonal relationships, staff development. Now you treat all people with dignity and respect and courtesy. And the reason that was so important to me is because as a police chief and I saw other members of the staff being, I thought, verbally abused and mistreated brutally and incorrectly by the city manager. And he would have disciplined and demanded that I discipline, and rightfully so, any member of my staff or any member of any other department that should view the public that way. But no, that was okay for him to do that. So I said, let's go ahead, that's one of the primary goals we're going to work on. Well, it didn't work like that, okay? It didn't happen. In the previous experience, by the way, our city auditor was berated at different meetings with the city manager, treated disrespectfully. Was brought up by Commissioner Charlotte Rossman not a couple of commissioner meetings ago, where Bruce Ligo from the International Swimming Hall of Fame, in a meeting with another member from the public, was mistreated in front of the city manager. And then one commission meeting, several commission meetings ago, I bring up on the dais some commission reports. I think that was one of those really late meetings when nobody was around, and it was just us talking about these things. And I was saying, we're getting these, we get our package prepared for commission meetings. It was getting like Friday night, sometimes Saturday morning, because it was so long. It was like, sometimes this is a short commission meeting, it's only like 33 agenda items. We've been dealing with almost 100 all the time, and that's almost translates into about 1,800 pages of documents you have to prepare for every particular meeting. And I wanted to have those at least a day or so earlier. And I knew and I was just asking for 24 hours in advance. And we asked staff to work on that. Well, the city manager goes and berates our city clerk for embarrassing him and bringing up a problem in public like that. That's not what it's about. Transparency. Let's discuss the issues. Let's work towards a solution. People will make mistakes. Allow people to make mistakes. The baby learns how to walk, they crawl, they fall down, they get hurt. They make mistakes. When it's done for the good things of the right, for the reason of the heart, people shouldn't be degraded, shouldn't be embarrassed, and shouldn't be made to feel like they're doing the wrong thing. After a while, people, they don't do things. I contend that the morale in this city right now is people are doing primarily what they're told to do. I'd like to see the change and go back to some of the earlier days when we had, and not even, it's been many years ago, where we had people who would exert creativity and initiatives of their own. We talked about that today for the budget process and going in with a visioning process and going into the new budget review process about the people on the street in this city, the people doing that work. They're the ones to know what needs to get done. We need to get that kind of feedback and speed it up. We don't get that nowadays. It's top down. It's top down, and we need to go ahead and change that. Other issues that I think we need to talk about some more, and it has to do with economic development in neighborhoods and businesses. Besides public safety, that's a huge factor. In fact, they go hand in hand. You have public safety working for economic development. Economic development creates public safety. If you build it, you create issues where people come and live and recreate, and you keep the criminal aspect out. That's the goal, to do both of those at the same time. But right now, as touched on by somebody else earlier in these discussions, that we don't get there. We get a certain amount of economic redevelopment. And a lot of those you spoke tonight have been benefactors of that. There's a lot that we haven't had a chance to look at because the entire process has to start with the city manager. We don't even get a chance to take a look at anything. Before you go to the DRC, it's approved of by the city manager and other processes. It needs to be more open and more transparent. And people who do not play that game with the city manager are called troublemakers and are not team players. I've had issues getting with my own particular district, getting something covered, like I've asked for a Knoll Ridge traffic study plan. I haven't had that since I've been in the commissioner for 8 months. Knoll Ridge wants, they've been talking about this for months, actually years before I even got into the elected office. Neighborhood development criteria revision. We've asked to have that done. We had big town hall meetings, and what's going to be done with that? We're supposed to have another big town hall meeting in November. We're already past November. We didn't get there. And that's because we may not meet the certain criteria or what the manager wants to see. It's not what the people want to see, and it's what the commission wants to see. It's not being done in the openness. Another issue, a lot of people talk about integrity issues. There's an assistant chief that came up here to retire. Yeah, it's another PD issue, and I'm proud to be a member of the police department. Integrity is such an important aspect of what we do. During that OAS conference, which was brought to this city, actually at the time, Mayor Noggle with Nikki Grossman from the Convention and Business Bureau and several other members of the community, they wanted to bring this to the city. It was a big thing for the city. Organization of the American States, the first time in 25 or 30 years that conference is going to be held in the United States. 26 heads of state come here. Huge. Puts Fort Lauderdale on the map. We were tasked with a plan on how to go out and develop this plan for public safety, which, by the way, if you recall, in Fort Lauderdale, we didn't have any of the problems that Miami had with the FTAA about 2 years earlier. We planned for it. We worked with our public, with other agencies. We worked with federal agencies and state agencies and county agencies to get that plan taken care of. Part of that whole process is you have to provide a free speech area for demonstrators. They have to come in and speak. You have to provide an area for them to begin free speech. We have come up with this area in concert with our other members who are calling for this public safety area. In fact, the federal judge was going to federal court because ACLU and other members who wanted to speak felt that they were being pushed off to the side and wanted to be someplace visible where they can be, where the diplomats and leaders from other countries, like the winds, the Port Everglades, can see the demonstrators there. So we had to provide that type of thing. But you know, in doing that, Steve Robitaille, when he came here and spoke, was really kind of being light on that. We were actually asked to go to federal court and tell them we thought it should be something different than what we thought it was. That's unethical, and that's borderline illegal as far as I'm concerned. Fast forward to the current existence we have right now, what's going on here. One of the first issues this commission dealt with was with the